Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fab's in the house. And today I've got three versions of the Koenig Arius here with me. This is the Generation 4, the latest iteration. This is the Generation 3, and this is the Generation 2. We're gonna check out the differences and the similarities because I've noticed that many people are a little bit confused, so I thought to do a video just to explain how they are different and how to recognize them, basically. So first of all, you can start off from the lock side and check out, for example, the number of screws present in the lock arm. So I don't have a Generation 1 here with me, but you will notice that the Generation 1 will have two screws to hold in place the stainless steel insert right over there. So two screws, that's going to be your first indicator that that's a Generation 1. The Generation 2 and the Generation 3, they both have a larger screw in place. Generation 4, as you can see, has a smaller screw right over here. You can see, very different. So that's gonna basically tip you off. Also, another indicator is gonna be the flipper tab. As you can see, Generation 2 and 1, they have a flipper tab that's like a hook design and there's no jimping going on. Whereas Generation 3 is jimped right over here and is more rounded off, and it's gonna be easier to, for example, do like a push button opening kind of thing, whereas for the Generation 2 and 1 you still can, but it's better if you do just a light switch deployment method. Also, another thing you're gonna notice is the Lockbar Arm is designed differently in the Generation 4. In fact, you can see right over here that this is more like angled, like in this way, whereas the Generation 2, 3, and 1, they have like a more like square and wider lock face compared to the Generation 4. Also, another thing is that the jimping on the, let's put it this way, for example, the jimping on the Generation 3 and on the Generation 2 and 1, of course, of the Lockbar Release is shorter than the Generation 4. In fact, you can see right over here, this is Generation 4, this is Generation 3. So Generation 4 is a little bit thinner and longer. Generation 3 to 1, they have shorter but wider jimping for the Lockbar Release. Also, another very slight difference that you can only notice when the blade is closed is the kind of steel employed. So you can see from Generation 3, they started like engraving right over here, M390. This Generation 4 also is marked M390 right over there, whereas the Generation 2 has no markings. In fact, they were using XHP steel and 204P steels for the previous generation. Then they switched to the better M390 steel, and there's a little marking going on right over there also for Generation 3. Also, you're gonna see different milling patterns going on. They are mostly for Generation 4 and they're called the 55 and the 57 pattern. So they have like really cool milling patterns going on the scales. I don't have one to show you right over here, but I'll get one soon. Also, another difference, of course, is going to be the weight. For example, this is a Generation 2, but has some lightning pocket right on the inside. So the weight is going to be around like 4.8 ounces. This guy is going to be around 4 ounces because it's carbon fiber with lightning scales. And in this case, this is like a Generation 3, but has zirconium scale. So this is going to be more like closer to the 6 ounces weight. Also, another interesting difference is that from the Generation 4, you can, I don't know if you can see it right now, probably no, but it shows right over here the generation number. In fact, here it's Generation 4, right over there. And you can check that in the Generation 3 also there's some kind of code, not in this one because this is a custom one, and here in fact you can just see maybe the markings on the inside. It says Bill Koenig Custom, but from latest Generation 2 they started introducing some date code on the inside. Generation 1 has no code on the inside. Also, another difference is the sound, because this is Generation 2. All right, Generation 3. And this is Generation 4. So you can see the Generation 3 and 4, they have a very similar opening sound. The closing sound is a little bit different on the 4, but definitely Generation 2 is much more different in the sound. Also, of course, price is going to be a little bit different because it also depends on the variant you're going to choose, the kind of blade steel employed, the finish of the blade. Because, for example, like this Generation 2 has just a stone washed blade. In this case, you can have a hand rubbed satin kind of finish going on right over here, and with this blasted fuller like inside over here, and the swedge, and this one has a dual tone finish with a finer sandblast kind of finish and satin flats going on. So that's gonna also, of course, add to the cost of the knife, as well as the kind of hardware. If you pick like anodized or time mascus, or it's gonna depend, and it's gonna influence, of course, the price. Grip size, it's the same basically. Something that it has been vastly improved on the Generation 4 are the tighter tolerances, which are improved, of course, and the overall action, which is probably a tad smoother than the 3, and very, very similar, but a little bit better, and definitely improved by the already pretty awesome action on the Generation 2. Also, a little improvement is the softer stainless steel employed in the lock face insert right over here, just a touch softer than these two guys over here, previous generation, but overall, I mean, you can't go wrong. Any one you're gonna pick, it's gonna be a beautiful knife because it's the Koenig Arius, so you can't really go wrong. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.